Um, Specifically, I want to reference the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, because there's a remarkable set of verses here. This is from book one, Samadhi Pada. Remarkable set of verses that 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 lead up to the mic drop on Om. Okay, so there's an important piece here called maybe like a deeper context. So I want to back up from the initial verse itself, and then we kind of lead up to the Om part, right? And Patanjali has just presented a methodology around the very namesake of this book, Samadhi Pada, around samadhi. What does samadhi mean? It means it's the highest stage of meditation. It means super conscious absorption. It means that the subject, the me over here, and the object, what's being observed, there's no boundary between the two. In fact, it's described as only the object. So if you're looking at a candle flame or the moon, there's no story. There's not even a like me over here, the observer looking at that thing over there. There's just the life of whatever it is that you're looking at in its fullest, right? That's samadhi. Means same concentration. Sama means same, and di means concentration. The subject and the object are the same, which is totally antithetical to the normative waking consciousness, right? So it's a categorically different state of attention. And yeah, friend coming in. And so he goes through like, okay, well, how do you develop that? And he says, well, you work a little bit, you work medium bit, or you work really hard. And if you're into working really hard, you can work hard, or extra hard. Okay, like get at it. And then he drops this. He says, or Ishvara Pranidhana Navad, which means or devotional surrender to Ishvara or God. Samadhi can be attained quickly, and quickly. That's a very noteworthy word. This is the accelerated method by devotional surrender to the divine, however you conceive it. And maybe we grow up with some charged associations around divinity or God, or you shouldn't say that, or whatever. But the word that Patanjali uses here is Ishvara. And so Ish means like the presiding force or Lord, we could say. And Vada means waves. So one who presides over all the waves, all the fluctuations, all the permutations that we see in the cosmos, in existence, in our own experience. Your body is one such wave. Your body is one such wave-like expression of the Ishvara, right? So the one who presides over all the currents, and there are many a current to be had, isn't there? Like your thought waves, how many of those are there? Oh, at least 27, in a minute, in a second, right? So there's a lot of waves, and from where do these waves emanate? That's pretty, I don't know, it's a deep consideration. Where do the waves come from? And so Ishvara is that. Or by devotional surrender to Ishvara, samadhi can be attained quickly. Like this, bow to the source of the waves. And devotion is, it's an attitude we can choose. It's an outlook that we can adopt. I choose to be reverential. I choose to be faithful. I choose to be devotional. The parameters of this particular understanding is finite. I know that there's more beyond the scope of my mind. Let me pay homage to that, even if it's unseen and outside of my normative understanding, right? That's, one way that we could kind of appreciate devotion. And he goes on to say, to characterize Ishvara, and I'll summarize all this bit. Essentially, Ishvara is without karma. Without karma, that's a much more involved conversation, but that's the assertion. And what's more is all-knowing or omniscient. That there's a cosmic mind here that knows past, that knows present, that knows future, that knows the blueprint for making a hummingbird and a blue whale and a Victoria and Chris as well. Yeah, right. Got the blueprint on being Chris, and all of Chris's karma is accounted for, etc. You know, he's living his journey. It's all held within this sort of omniscient sphere of knowing. And what's more, Ishvara is our inner teacher. Is our inner teacher. You can, this is good news, friends. This is fantastic news. You can cultivate a faculty of inner teacher. You can develop your capacity to know, whether intuitively or intellectually or experientially. We can have great insight into this you know, kind of life assignment that we've been given. And Ishvara is it said the teacher of the earliest teachers. Ishvara, so we can develop our own Ishvara capacity. And finally, this is the whole lead up. Tasya Vachika Pranava, which means Om is the word denoting Ishvara. So all those qualities, those characteristics beyond karma, the teacher of the earliest teachers, omniscient sphere. If you were to kind of just distill that down to one point, what would that exercise be? It's Om. It's Om. And it's said that Om and Ishvara share an immutable relationship. The same way light and heat come from a candle flame. Like if you take any one of those things away, it ceases to be a candle. And what's more, it's not a kind of product of the human imagination. That there is an immutable relationship between the principle of Ishvara, if you want to call it that, a principle, and the kind of seed resonance of Om. And we have the kind of particular vocal version of Om that we do that is the closest approximation we can give for whatever this vibrational Om field is going on in the very heart center of the universe. Hey, goody, right? That's my kind of sandbox. This is great news. If you're into yoga and that, like, well, we can. There's a method to commune with the source, and that method is Om. And you know, in my own experience, it takes a bit of tinkering around and working with and stuff. Like any skill or discipline, you don't become a master woodworker overnight. You know, you gotta like saw a few things, glue some things, and learn about, I don't know, dove joints. And you know, Chris is a craftsman, so Chris has the karma and craftsmanship. You know, it takes you spend a lifetime there. So you know, we'll cover as much terrain as we can in our evening, and in particular, I just invite you to just hold a little bit of space and a little bit of wonder around, you know, where does devotion fit into this? Well, how can I bring a kind of reverence or offering kind of attitude to the mantra? Yeah. Okay. Let's start on our backs, actually, friends. Let's turn this way.